Now, ever since the release of Star Wars The Mandalorian, and of course Star Wars The Clone Wars Season 7, it's pretty safe to say that those two particular Star Wars projects pretty much showed us that there's enough momentum for Disney and Lucasfilm to propel the fans into a more positive route for the Star Wars franchise in comparison to what Kathleen Kennedy did with the past movies and other projects. This is Mike Zero. Make sure to subscribe if you are new to the channel for future Star Wars content. Now, the one thing about Disney Star Wars is that we do know that they have had a rough patch of Star Wars projects, right? We've seen a prime example of this with The Last Jedi, Solo: A Star Wars Story, and even The Rise of Skywalker. Now, when I go ahead and look at Rogue One, I would go as far to say is that that movie is honestly just as enjoyable as the original trilogy, at least to me. I don't know about you guys, but Rogue One, for some reason, just felt like a true, authentic Star Wars movie. And it's kind of funny because Gareth Edwards, before that film, all he really did was Godzilla 2014. So, with that being said, we've seen Rian Johnson, how he had a similar situation where he hopped on Star Wars where his big movie before that was Looper. So you kind of had these two independent filmmakers that actually got their chance to make a bigger movie, and then they hopped right into Star Wars. Except in my point of view, obviously, Rian Johnson failed, and Gareth Edwards succeeded. So, when we look at everything by Bob Iger and Chapek, that's what they're really trying to do. They're looking to find more creatives like Gareth Edwards, who are very well talented, and also, they're looking for more experienced creators. Creators that we actually know of very, very well. And with that being said, of course, since the release of The Last Jedi and The Rise of Skywalker, fans have been more skeptical about the future of the franchise and whether or not it can be brought back to how it was before the Star Wars community was divided. Now, it's noted that Disney has multiple plans in place in order to create a better future with the Star Wars brand. One of those plans is by introducing Star Wars Legends to become canon once again, for the most part, and to continue to create authentic Star Wars stories that respect the vision of George Lucas. However, unfortunately, one of the projects will be controlled by Kathleen Kennedy. This is the Leslye Headland Star Wars TV series that will include tons of identity politics and personal agendas. Now, it's explained that Leslye Headland has been in the talks with Brie Larson to become a part of the new Star Wars series, and that they have both agreed that Brie Larson will be able to have some form of control in how the Star Wars story will be handled as the lead actors in the new TV show. It's explained that both Leslye Headland and Brie Larson agree that they want to erase some aspects of the Star Wars franchise by getting rid of traditions of Star Wars and even breaking the rules of the franchise. Now, this was said to have been an original idea by Brie Larson at no surprise, that she proposed to Leslye Headland and convinced her to break the rules of Star Wars and to also break traditions. Let me just stop right here and say that this really is a very bad idea and a destructive idea by Brie Larson, and I believe that she may very well have a good sense that it will. It seems like that Brie Larson, from the interviews that she has given for Captain Marvel, a lot of fans were very much annoyed of how she actually handles her interviews and what she thinks about the fans overall of the MCU. Now, these rules and traditions are described to be significant to the franchise and important to the fans. By altering these rules and traditions, it's only setting themselves up for another backlash like The Last Jedi, if not worse. And this is 100% correct. Obviously, if you're breaking traditions and rules that are very much significant and important, you're gonna gain a lot of backlash by fans, and that's not a good thing. We don't want another The Last Jedi situation. So far, Star Wars television has been off to a good start. We got The Mandalorian, we've got The Clone Wars Season 7, we've got new Star Wars TV shows in the works as we speak. Now, actress Brie Larson will be providing her own acting style in the new Star Wars TV series, which I think is a terrible idea, by the way, for the fans and for new fans, that it was Brie's idea to convince Leslye Headland to not listen to the fans and to ignore them in order to create a powerful all-female-led Star Wars TV series. This was then brought up to Kathleen Kennedy, to which Kennedy believed it was the best idea to break the rules and traditions of Star Wars in order to create something unique for the fans around the world. Additionally, it's described that Headland is still in the talks with director Rian Johnson to direct a handful of Star Wars episodes for the all-female-led Star Wars TV series, depending on his schedule for Knives Out 2 and other Knives Out films he plans to make in order to create his murder mystery universe. So, of course, it's noted that Johnson has shown interest to return to Star Wars after his trilogy was split into 3 different pieces, or projects by Bob Chapek, if you will, and that Headland is very excited to begin writing the series this July of 2020, where they aim to release the show sometime in 2022 or 23 on Disney+, and that the new details will be unveiled at Star Wars Celebration. So let me just say that Brie Larson does not belong in Star Wars. That's my stance. Simple as that. She does not belong here. She doesn't even belong in the MCU, if you want my honest opinion. That's just how I see things. I'm not a fan of her. I think I only really enjoyed her in Kong Skull Island, where I didn't really know who she even was at the time. And I really think that that was really her big debut, right? Where a lot of fans started wondering, who is this woman? So with that being said, guys, drop a comment below. Let me know what you think about all of this in the comments, and if you guys did enjoy the content for today, do make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel. I thank you all so very much for the kind support, and I'll catch you guys next time.
Thank you.